I really like this one. I do. I think it's one of the most fun, over-the-top comic book movies of all time, but I see its faults.
Meow.
We did jump out of order to cover Superman Returns. Not that you guys know that. And now we're going back to talk Batman Returns. Both of them returned, which I think that is a sign of an excellent superhero. They might show up, but do they return?
That would be really like even lamer, like Batman leaves. Batman
Batman will be there as soon as he can. He's got a thing, but he'll see you right after the thing. Yeah, Batman Returned. This is our second Michael Keaton Batman film, and last, until The Flash.
I'm Batman.
Until The Flash. And possibly Batgirl, but we'll never know, because they wiped it out of existence.
Yeah.
That is just weird to me. Anyway, let's go back to the 90s. And Batman Returned. He brought some friends with him. What did you think of Batman Returns when it first came out, Mr. Chad?
I think I touched on this briefly the last time we talked about the last Batman video.
Your sheer hatred for it?
No, I never hated it. I just wasn't, and I'm still not a huge fan of Burton's. I mean, I do love Burton's. Yeah, when he's doing movies like Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, which he didn't direct that one, but he produced it.
When he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, when he's making his own world, I love that stuff. But in this movie, the first one was, I really do like the first movie. This one, he really went off the deep end with his Burtonness. And to me, it almost seems like the visual aesthetic became more important than the story in this one. Because I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie, but it's also very confusing. And it's also, this is apparently why Warner Brothers let go of him after this, is that it was really gross. It's really gross and kinky, and way too kinky for a children's movie too. This is, I think, what the concern was.
Just the pussy I've been looking for.
I didn't know about any of this. I was just reading about it. It also underperformed at the box office. It wasn't a bomb, but it didn't do anywhere near as well as the first one did. So Warner Brothers was like, okay, Mr. Burton, we're done here.
Well, no, they also, but that can't be the full truth, because after this is when they shunted him over to Superman. So if they thought he was too weird and kinky for Batman, then they gave him.
Yeah, but that was like 8 years later or whatever, or 6 years later.
Well, yeah, but
somebody must have changed their mind.
They go to him, you know. It's like, okay, so if they had a big problem with his thing, there's a lot of this weirdly that's like a Warner Brothers cartoon. In other words, the classic Warner Brothers cartoons were written by adults. Kids love them. They're fully packed with crazy sight gags and and there are jokes in there that only adults will get. And that's what this movie is too. In a weird way, this is very suitably a Warner Brothers movie, because it is packed, and the kids get something, which is weird looking villains and superhero punching them and doing that. And the adults are like, whoa, was that a sex reference? Oh my goodness, what? I will say, bringing Daniel Waters in to be the second screenwriter, because I think this was a story that Sam Hamm, who was one of the guys who did the first one, came up with, and I think probably did multiple drafts. But then they bring in Daniel Waters, the guy who had done Heathers, who is, and for a time he was the go-to hot touch-up guy, because he was just that funny, and he really dark, cynical sense of humor, which of course is all over this thing. And you're like, yeah, there's some great lines in this. And I'm like, I'm not sure if that's a great line for a Batman movie, but it's a great line. And I'm sitting there seeing the seams between what Sam Hamm probably was trying to do and then Daniel Waters coming in. The aesthetic doesn't bother me as much, even though it is totally a Tim Burton world here. You know, you're like, wow, again, it's all black and white and striped things, which is just, that's his thing. And it's almost like he could bleed the color out, because almost everyone is a black and white figure. But it works for me. I love this. The thing I will say, and exactly is the same with you, it's confusing, because not only is it stuffed with plot but plot that doesn't necessarily connect organically.
Yeah.
It's stuffed with too many characters. Batman himself,
Way too many. Yeah.
it is kind of off to the side. He gets some good scenes.
Yeah.
But really, it is to introduce Catwoman and the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been fine. And again, even though it's not, both of them are highly different from the comics. And I'm usually Mr. Like, that's not the source material. This one I can kind of give it, because all the Burton Batman stuff seems like an alternate universe to me. And it's like, well, on its own terms. It's like, that's not how I would have done the Joker, but I'll take it. In this case, not the comics appropriate or accurate Catwoman and Penguin. That would have been fine. But then to introduce a character like Max Shreck. Here's the deal. Love Christopher Walken. Love him. And he
looks great.
He looks great, and he's delivering on every level. He gets some great killer scenes and dialogue, but he doesn't exist in the comics. And to tell you the truth, he's kind of unnecessary, except for as a way, he's just a junction point where they can blend their Catwoman and Penguin stories. That's it. So you get a third villain. And this was probably the first movie. And I'm surprised that like the makers of the Spider-Man films and so forth, the ones that came later, this is the lesson. You don't pack it so full of villains that the hero gets overshadowed or it's impossible to follow.
It takes a really talented screenwriter and director to juggle that many characters. As we know, James Gunn, somebody like James Gunn knows how to do that. In this case, it's not even so much that the villains are, the amount of villains is getting in the way. It's just the amount of time we spend with them.
No, that's what it is that each one has to get a spotlight. Each one has to have their origin. Neither of them kind of shows up fully formed. I mean, the Penguin kind of does, but we also get his origin. Right. So in other words, you're forced to spend a lot of screen time just letting us know who they are before you know what they want or what they're going to do. And one thing that it's not that I forgot about the plot point, but when I was watching last night, I haven't watched it in years. I mean, I've got the Blu-ray because I have to have it. And I really like this one. I do. I think it's one of the most fun, over-the-top comic book movies of all time. But I see its faults.
Yeah.
And we're talking about one of them. The plot about the Penguin goes on the whole, like, I want to know who I am. And he's in the Hall of Records or whatever, and he's writing names down. And I was like, oh, I forgot. There's this plot about his plan B. If taking over the city as mayor he's going to kill all of Gotham's firstborn. So he's just writing lists of all these names of kids he's going to abduct. They drop that entire like he's doing that at a certain section, like in the almost toward the middle of the movie. And then at the very end, it comes back and you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, what about the mayor thing and the power plant and all that? It's like, oh, now it's him abducting children. And they also, Batman takes care of that immediately.
Right.
It's like,
there's several times where he snuffs out something he's trying to do. It's like, well,
yeah, he literally sends him a note going, sorry, the kids aren't going to be joining you tonight. And he's like, oh,
there's several lost threads like that in some of the things. I'm like, what's going on?
There's a lot of plot holes that the movie, this is to Burton's credit, the movie rockets along at such a pace and always gives you something to follow that you don't start picking it apart till after it's over. Because then you go, oh, okay, so the penguins with the rockets on their backs, that's an awesome image. And of course, the rockets are all striped like, again, it's a Tim Burton thing. So they're all candy canes. But they're like, okay, they're grouping in Gotham Central, whatever. They're going towards the town hall. And if they shoot the rockets off, the estimated death toll is going to be like 100,000 people. And you're like, wow, that's intense. But all Batman does is send them to a slightly separate section of the city, which has an abandoned zoo, which is where the Penguin hides out. And he still has them launch their rockets. But in that little space,
Yeah.
And the explosion there doesn't look like it would have taken out more than, say, 25 people.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, he didn't change the rockets.
Yeah.
So even if they're at a different block, would that not still wipe out most of Gotham? Anyway, yes, there's plenty of things you go, oh, that doesn't work, does it?
The thing too with him twice, like Batman is able to override the frequency when he's giving it that speech. And he plays the stuff to kind of frame him, and then he does the same thing with overriding
with
the penguins. I'm like,
yeah.
how did he get his frequency? I don't even know if that was in the movie at some point.
Special bat equipment.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there should have been, and we do get to see Batman doing some detective work in this, which I like
a little bit.
But it would have been cool if at least there was a scene where he uncovers, oh, this is the penguin's secret frequency. Now I can thwart his efforts.
Well, I mean, basically in the movie, all it is the very first one, which is when he overrides the conference. You see on the screen, it goes searching for frequency, in other words, he doesn't have it locked in for a bit. Then he gets it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just, he basically set something for scan, find the frequency.
Yeah.
Found it. Great. Now I'm going to send this through. And that was basically it. You're like, okay, it's fancy tech. All of this is explained by fancy tech.
Yeah.
By the way, the remote control thing they put on the Batmobile, also a striped candy looking ball thing. It's like, Tim.
It doesn't, incredibly conspicuous looking things. Like,
yeah. And there are certain things in there where I'm like, okay, he was abandoned by his parents, went down the sewers into an abandoned zoo where penguins kind of adopt him. We're talking about the penguin here. But at some point, he also becomes a bird boy in a freak show in a traveling circus, which is also a crime gang. And you're like, okay, that's all backstory stuff. And I'm sitting there going like, I wonder if this is vestiges where maybe that circus was intended to introduce Robin, because you do a circus in a Batman movie. I'm like, well, were the Flying Graysons part of that circus? In other words, I think they did intend to introduce Robin in this movie as well. That would just
I think they did. Yeah.
I think that's insane.
Right.
The Batman 89 comic, just like the Superman 78 comic, the Batman 89 comic, finally, Sam Hamm gets to take his story forward and introduces Robin the way he wanted to. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, so this, I like it a lot. It's like, I know it's faulty, but right from the beginning, it's Tim Burton land. This movie, John goes, it's a great Christmas movie. And I'm like, movies that are here, people will bring up like Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and I go, it takes place at Christmas. Movies that take place at Christmas aren't Christmas movies. Christmas isn't a part of the story or the plot. It just happens to be the time it's set. So people that go like, my favorite Christmas movies, Die Hard and Batman Returns, I'm like, no. But anyway, so yeah, we see the Penguin born. He's a horrible, freakish mutant, which is, again, not the comics. We have Paul Rubens, R.I.P., Pee Wee Herman, and the actress who I can't remember her name, but she was in Pee Wee's Big Adventure as well, who played the waitress that he kind of hangs around with for a little bit as the Penguin's mom. And I think that's a great Tim Burton thing of like, oh, I just want to bring back friends I worked with.
Diane Salinger.
Yeah, and so it's awesome. And they abandon their child in the river. And we see the penguin showing up. And that's the beginning of the movie with cool bats flying out. It's great. And then basically it's Christmas and people are talking about a penguin man that is being seen in the sewers. I do like the way they go 35 years later. And I'm going, Danny DeVito is only supposed to be like 35.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's a mutant, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. He's coated in makeup anyway.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'll say in this, they do seem to be setting this up for him to be a sympathetic villain. That because he's a mutant who's been shunned by his parents and he's cast out into the world down the river like Moses, and then raised by penguins, apparently. But he's never really. When we finally get to meet him later in the movie, there's nothing about him that's sympathetic.
There are moments, but I think the whole point, And I think what Tim Burton latched onto, because Tim Burton said when he was given Batman, he's like, I was not a fan of the comics, you know, as a kid, that wasn't my jam.
Yeah.
But he's like, and then I read some and it's like, oh, I get it. He's an outsider. And for Tim Burton, that's his entire oeuvre. That's everything the man's ever done, is about the weird outsider that, you know, has been overlooked but has something special about them. And I think
Right.
it's all autobiography. But so in other words, the same here. He's given us Selina Kyle and the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot. They didn't use the I was like, dude, that's a great middle name. And he wanted them to all be versions of the same thing, which is the whole point at the end where Bruce and Selina are talking. It's like, I'm just like you. I'm split right down the middle. And it's like, we're freaks, man. The point with the Penguin is, yeah, he's pitiable. But he was twisted. He was turned evil due to his circumstances. Selina Kyle was repressed, probably by society, by herself, by her insecurities, all that kind of stuff. And when she's unleashed, she's this, like, you know, chaotic, fierce thing. So they're all these representatives of fractured psyches, which you could say also, that's not a bad reading. That is pretty much all of Batman's villains. Batman has the craziest villains, even the ones that seem the most normal, end up in Arkham. So he always has insane people. Superman always has scientists and magic creatures and things that could punch a planet to, you know, rocks. But Batman's all about these fucked up people. So it's not a bad read, but yeah, he doesn't have any true softness. Every now and then he dies pathetically, and, you know, the whole thing is just like, wow, it's just sad, really. And for half a second, he was like, oh my god, Max Shreck makes him heroic to the people of Gotham, and for the first time, people are going, oh, you're great, we love you, Oswald. He's like, oh yeah, but he only sees it as like, great, I can screw all these ladies.
Right, I know. It's like the more we get to know him, the more it's like, yeah, there's nothing redeemable about this guy whatsoever.
It's okay.
Whatsoever.
This movie did the same thing with as the first one did. You know, the Joker that they introduce is pretty great. He's Jack Nicholson. And then they kill him at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's like the Penguin. This is an interesting take. And Danny DeVito goes for it. Love him.
Yeah.
They kill him.
They
I'm
kill
like,
him.
what are you guys doing?
What are you guys doing? Yeah, I know.
It's like, you've ever read the comics?
Yeah.
They go to jail or Arkham, and
They
then
go to
they
Arkham,
escape, and he has to fight them again.
Yeah.
Killing them off one by one. It's like Catwoman even gets killed, but she has the 9 lives thing. She keeps saying, which isn't really okay.
Not really.
We need to address the elephant in the room. Are we ready?
Yeah.
These aren't the characters from the comics.
No.
I said it.
No.
And even the Penguin, HBO's The Penguin, love it. So great. Not the character from the comics.
No.
And is it impossible to do the character from the comics? No. Would you have to put some work in on writing? Yeah. But the idea that he was not always a rich kid, that's something that this movie introduced, that he's kind of like the sad version of, well, Bruce Wayne already is sad, but like a child of privilege who gets abandoned. It's a cool take. But no, he was totally middle class. The classic Oswald Cobblepot is that he was just a picked on, brilliant kid, but fat and, you know, got the pointy nose, the whole thing. The eccentric mom who's overbearing, who makes him carry an umbrella every day in case it rains. And the fact that, you know, she ran a bird store, so everything is bird related. And basically he just adopts the personality of like, fine, but I'm going to dress all dapper, so screw you guys, look how cool I am in my little tuxedo and my top hat, and I'm going to turn my umbrellas into weapons, and I am still obsessed with birds. Yeah, I know that's not much of a hero or villain backstory, but yeah, we're never going to get that.
Yeah. At least we did get the weaponized umbrellas.
We got the umbrellas.
So, yeah.
The one thing I think is so weird is when he does the helicopter one. I'm like, why would it lose the cloth? Wouldn't you need that?
Like,
because it's just
work.
wires. I'm like, the wires aren't going to be able to lift.
No,
I'm sorry. He's a chunky little nugget. So I don't think. But yeah, so we do get that in this, and we get the top hat and all that stuff. It's just we get Tim Burton grossness. Like he eats raw fish, like a penguin. And you're like, oh, great. Do we get to watch it? Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And he's constantly got like black ink coming out of his mouth for some reason.
Because visually, again, Burton was like, ooh, yeah, like one of my cartoons. You're like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
The gross hair, the whole thing. It's like, he lives in the sewer. He would look like this. You're like, okay. He's kind of a Phantom of the Opera kind of dude, only without class, and he can't play the keyboards. So, and the Catwoman, she's blonde. Somewhere, John Campbell just like reflexively went, ugh, because that's such a Brendan statement. He hates when I do that, when I'm like, the character, can't you just get the hair color right? Was Michelle Pfeiffer like, I don't want to have my hair dyed? She's traditionally a brunette. She has black hair just like Bruce does. Right. But because it was Michelle Pfeiffer, they're like, oh, don't touch those golden locks.
Mm-hmm.
So here, Selina Kyle is this nebbishy secretary to Max Shreck. And she's awkward. It's one of those movie things where you take one of the most beautiful women in the world and you make her hair messy and put glasses on her.
Yeah.
And she walks like she's a, adult. And then you go, oh, that poor homely. No, it's still a beautiful woman. It's Michelle Pfeiffer.
I know. That was one of my problems with it. Was like, I'm trying to buy her, as you said, like this nebbish, mousy person. Like, no.
I will say,
no.
I will say across the board, they all bring it. Michelle Pfeiffer's acting in this is
especially
great.
when she gets to be real Selina.
But I think her as the Neb, she's doing a great job with it. The only problem is, again, we don't buy it. But the mannerisms, the whole thing, and her talking to herself, where she's like, "Oh, yeah, that was." She's mocking her own, like, "Oh, well, actually, it's more of a question." I'm like, that's good. It's good stuff. So I think she's amazing in it. And she's a great Catwoman, except for I was just sitting there going like, all right, Selina Kyle started in the comics as she is a Richie. She was a socialite, but a kleptomaniac. So she's rich, like Wayne, but she can't help being a jewel thief. She's obsessed with that. And that's what made her the Catwoman, is that she can't help but steal, but she doesn't really need it for the money. And of course, she loves cats. This thing goes, oh no, she is a twitchy nerd who gets murdered and brought back to life by cats.
Yeah.
And that unleashes her inner strength. And then she becomes, the schizophrenic Catwoman-y person who, in a Tim Burton manner, it's like that costume would be comics accurate, except for all the stitching, because again, Tim Burton's like stitching. I love stitching. You look at all of his visual stuff, you go, trope. That's a thing that he loves.
Yeah.
It also makes a little sense because she makes her costume out of that, raincoat,
leather coat or
something
she
has.
Yeah.
But all the big, thick white I'm like, okay, Tim. All right, Tim. There's your Frankenstein thing. All right. But she's great.
This is her origin. Is she realizes that she forgot to do something when she gets home, that she'd left a voicemail for herself saying, "Don't forget to do this thing."
Yeah, you got to set up this meeting. Yeah, she has to go back to the office, which is also, this is weird. Max Shreck is going to pitch to Bruce Wayne, who's going to be a financial backer, this power plant. His thing is, it's actually a power siphon. And it's going to make him even more powerful as I own Gotham. But he's just a department store magnate. I'm like, where does power plants come into? Like, if you're Macy, hi, I'm Macy of Macy's, is the next thing you going like, I've created a power plant? Because Shrek's department store it's obviously a huge part of Gotham, and he's well respected, but it seems way out of whack how powerful he already is.
Right.
Like the mayor himself is like, here we are for the lighting of the Christmas tree, and oh, don't listen to me, I'm just the mayor. Here's your real friend, Max Shreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing, is that she happens to be setting up the meeting for the next day with Bruce Wayne.
Right.
So she's in the office, and Max comes in, and she goes, oh, and he goes, working late. And she's like, yeah, I got all the stuff you're going to need. I even went into why she would admit this. I went into the protected file.
This is the thing that really bothered me. It's like, why did she do that? And why did she admit it?
Yeah, why would she? She's like, went in the protected files so you can. And he goes, oh, really? You got in the protected files? So she goes, yeah. And then she goes even further and goes, turns out your power plant's. And she's not being like, I found out. She's like, she can't stop herself from talking. She's like, and it turns out it's more like a capacitor, like it's a siphon. And is that what you intended? And he's like,
yeah.
He goes, it's interesting that you found that out. How'd you get in? She goes, well, I figured this out. And
guess your password.
I figured out your password. And he's like, oh, well, you're very diligent. And she goes, oh, I won't tell anybody. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm sure you won't, because of course I'm going to kill you.
Right.
And that little scene though, that is great, where he goes,
it is.
What did you think? I was going to throw you out the window? And she goes,
yeah.
I kind of thought you were. And he goes, I am.
Yeah, I do like that bit. It's just, there's a missing thread there. It's like, it would have been a lot better, I think, if she was actually investigating herself, like, what is this about, or something, if that was part of her character, because she just stumbles into it, and then, like you say, she clumsily admits it, and that's a really weird. It's just messy.
It's weird. The only thing that does continue as a thread, it seems that she, instead of being like a thief, which, I mean, she does steal some stuff, but it's basically right before she blows up Shrek's department store. But it's not her driving thing. Her driving thing is to get back at Max Shreck.
Well,
so
eventually.
That is kind of, yes.
She gets a little distracted.
Yeah. She gets a little distracted with Penguin and all that stuff, and Batman.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't understand.
But at least they do keep that as being like a through line for her, even when she's going along with like the Penguin's plan, which is mainly she's trying to get the Penguin to keep Batman off her back while she continues doing what she wants to do. I think that's the point. But the whole thing is that, it's not really like, I will destroy him, he's a horrible human being. But she is kind of just thrown off to the side, where it's like, okay, now I'm fighting this guy in the bat suit who I find hot. Here's the Penguin who keeps being suggested toward me, but I can use him, and all that stuff. And you're like, okay, this is speaking of stitched together, this is a bunch of different plots that have been threaded clumsily together. But you're moving from set piece action to, oh, by the way, Batman kills so many people in this movie, it's not even funny.
I noticed that. I was like, here we go again.
He kills so many people.
So this is one aspect that Burton just didn't
consider. He didn't care about. I mean, literally, I mean, there are people who are harming others, but still, that thing where he makes the Batmobile turn around and then he just shoots the rocket at the guy who was the flame-throwing guy. I was like, holy fuck, you immolated a man.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around with this Batman. But yeah, so all that stuff, and the Penguin going public, and Shrek ends up in the sewers and meets the Penguin, and the Penguin has a pretty cool blackmailing thing going on, where he's like going, everything that you've tried to hide, all of your secrets, it's like, whatever you flush, I flaunt, is pretty funny. Where he's like going, oh, and he goes, those documents you're talking about, they were shredded. He goes, oh, look, I've got them here. I just, taped them together. He goes, what about your old partner? And he goes, oh, he's on vacation. He goes, oh, actually, no, he was dismembered and thrown in. I love that line where he's like going, hey, remember me? I'm Fred's hand.
I do love that whole scene where Shrek winds up there and he's just like aghast for for the whole time. Like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah, and then it starts to, because he's fast on his feet. Like, I get why the character exists. It's just that I wouldn't have. I would have found other ways as a writer than creating a whole new character that we don't know.
Yeah.
to tie all this stuff together. But yeah, so he essentially says, look, man, I can do more than just pay you off. I could make you the biggest guy in Gotham. He's like, what? So yeah, Shrek kind of seduces the Penguin into thinking bigger, and he's going to turn him into the next mayor. But also, first, he has to do something heroic so the public will love him, and he rescues the mayor's baby, which is all a setup thing.
Yeah.
And he's shirking from the flash bulbs
Yeah.
because I'm not used to the daylight.
Yeah, I do like that scene too, where he hands the baby over and he's like, he does this kind of like Godfather, like, I did what I could, you know.
I did what I could. And of course, everyone's like, oh my God, he's real. And then he's like, I just want to know who my parents were and why they felt the need to flush me away. Oh, I love that he goes, I was their number one son, but they treated me like number two. I guarantee you all these lines are Daniel Waters. But anyway, yes, that's the deal. He already knows that he's Oswald Cobblepot. That's what we find out later, but he's making a show of, I need to study the Hall of Records stuff. I do like that scene of Batman who instantly is suspicious of him. But the scene where he's in the Batmobile and just drives by like the Hall of Records at night while the Penguin's doing this, and he's just eyeing him like, what are you up to, man?
Yeah, the detective stuff. I love that crap.
Yeah.
And him collaborating with Alfred on some of this things.
Dude, just the fact that Alfred's down there, not just bringing him food, but also like, yes, sir, this is happening over here. I'm like, yeah.
And this happens later, but I do love it when Bruce guilt trips him for bringing Vicky to the cave.
Yes, yeah, that is a good moment. He's like, we really need to up security. He goes, oh, really? Up security? He's coming from the guy who just walks Vicky Vale into the back cave. He's like, well, I thought we could trust her. He's like, I'm just standing there. And it's like, oh, hi, Vic. How you doing? It's so good.
That was good, yeah.
Well, for one thing, it's one of those moments they get to play off each other, just like when he brings them the vichyssoise, and he's not looking, he's eating. He goes, ah, this is cold. He goes, it's supposed to be cold, so it's vichyssoise. It's like, oh,
and he just shrugs it off. It's like,
yeah, okay, whatever. I do love the two of them together, and I will stand by Michael Goff, great Alfred. You know, just love him. We've been watching a bunch of old 60s Peter Cushing movies for the podcast that Robin and I are doing with John.
Oh, cool.
And Michael Goff is in almost all of them, usually is like second or third guy, because Hammer and Amicus, both of those film companies, they just use the same people over and over again. So it's like he shows up as an auctioneer in a movie called The Skull that we just watched from 1965. And he's great. He's Michael Goff. He's in there for a little bit, but I'm like, oh, look at you, man. You're going to be Alfred. Hang in there, buddy. And your friend Peter, he's going to be a Grand Moff. Don't you worry about it. When it comes to Moffs, he's going to be the grandest of them all. So, yeah, all those little bits I really like. The Batman sequences, they've retooled the cowl. It's a little closer in. It's not as bulky. He's able to do a little bit of that. It just generally looks better. And he does do some more fighting scenes, taking out. Oh, by the way, I got one question, which you don't think about till later. The Red Circle Gang, is that what they're called? From the circus? They're the circus people.
Oh, yeah.
How many of them are there?
Yeah.
Because he wipes out a bunch of them at that Christmas tree thing. But then there's plenty more to come back. There's another like public fight scene. And also when he goes down into it's like endless amount of clowns.
Yeah.
And acrobats. I'm like, wouldn't he have worked his way down to like, now it's just the poodle lady and the penguin? The poodle lady and the penguin.
He did. I mean, the first movie, the Joker has an incredibly huge amount of people working for him. Where do you get all these guys? You know?
Yeah. And
but whatever.
What are they getting paid?
That didn't really bother me.
Are there benefits? Does he have a medical plan? Because I might sign up. No, they tend to die randomly because the Joker himself will just kill them randomly.
Right.
So
they kind of repeat that beat here too.
Yes.
It's not quite as brutal. I mean, I still think the first movie is much better than this, but I love where he shoots Bob in the first movie. Yeah, that comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh,
yeah, I love it.
Oh, whoa! And this one, you kind of see it coming.
And Bob was his number one guy.
Yeah,
his number one guy.
It wasn't even something that Bob did wrong. It's just something went wrong, and he said,
Yeah.
you're here. I'm going to kill you.
And that actually is very much in the comics. I always love the bits where the Joker, for absolutely no reason, just because one of them pisses him off, he's like, oh, I didn't know it was your birthday. And then the thug will go like, oh no, not happy birthday, not happy birthday. He shoves like a piece of dynamite in his mouth and lights, blows him up.
Yeah.
Like, why would you sign up to work with a homicidal, insane
what the
crime
hell?
boss? Yeah, so this one, like I said, it moves and it keeps throwing stuff at you, and you are, of course, like Catwoman is brought in later in the day, so it's almost like they're handing off focus. It's like, we've had enough Penguin, here's your Catwoman section. Like, she saves the one woman, claws a dude's face, does the tic-tac-toe thing. That's pretty hardcore. I do love the fact that, and you can find it on YouTube, she actually learned how to use the bullwhip. And the scene with her knocking the heads off the mannequins is her. And she did it in one take.
I had that thought a few times I was watching. It's like, oh, wow, that's actually her. I was like looking, is that a stunt woman? Or
yeah, there's a clip on YouTube that isn't one of the, it was like a safety camera. It was from above. In fact, you actually see camera crew down there, so it wasn't meant to be in the movie. So you're watching her do the take, and it is 1 by 2 by, she does all 4 one take. And when she stops, there's a little beat, and then all the people on the crew are like, oh my god, because she learned the shit out of that bullwhip. So that's pretty awesome. Again, she's a great Catwoman. I would have liked a more classic version, but still, I'll take it. She and Bruce meeting up, and I don't like the line, because the line is so fucking cheesy, where it's like, a kiss under the mistletoe is deadly, but what?
Yeah.
It's deadlier if you mean it. Or that line that they repeat back to each other, which is how they know that each other's Catwoman, Batman. That was cheesy.
Yeah, line. Yeah, I do kind of like that being. I mean, that not the line itself, but the fact that they do the same line and they realize, that's when they finally clicks that they're.
I like that. I mean, there's little bits where you're like, that's brilliant. They show Bruce Wayne getting into the bat suit, and he's in the Batmobile, and it's all the high tech stuff. They show her in her like jalopy at the same time, trying to, like, while she's driving, put on the Catwoman gloves and all that. I'm like, that's great, because he's got like, I'm used to this stuff, and I have $1 million trillion, and she's like, oh shit, I gotta go be Catwoman. Hold on, that's nice. And she just delivers. The whole thing where they have their date at Wayne Manor, and he's like, oh, give her an excuse, I have to run out because the bat signal showed up. And then instead Alfred goes in, and she's like, hey, could you just tell Bruce I had something come up? And she's making her own way out.
Make up a sonnet or
make up a sonnet. And he goes,
a limerick. He said, one just came to mind.
One just came to mind.
I do. That's another great scene where they're on the couch together.
Yeah.
And she kind of pounces on him.
Yeah.
But the expression on her face right before she does that, she's got this kind of wacky expression. She's kind of like, I was like, I kept winding back. That's so great.
And it's also very cool and smart the way, while they're making out, she goes down and touches his side where she gouged him, and he goes, yeah. And then he goes to stroke her arm, but he had burned her with a chemical burn, and so she's like, I do love when it's like, we're keeping secrets from each other. We know each other in the masked versions. That's all very cool. And I will say, I'm a Batman Catwoman purist. It's like, look, that's in game. He has lots of girlfriends, but it's Selina all the way. They almost got married in the comics, but she called it off. This was just a couple years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the Joker that spoiled it. The Joker basically went up to her and was like, hey, you realize that he's only good when he's miserable, and you make him too happy. You're going to get him killed, because if he's a happy Batman, he's a dead Batman. And Selina realizes, oh shit, he's right. I make him too happy. So she ditches him at the altar, and now he's miserable. Oh, well.
That
Anyway.
is one thing he does. And I guess this is what they're trying to do in this movie, is that she does kind of disarm him a bit, because he's a bit of a doofus when she's around. Like the thing like, oh, you hit a woman. How could you do that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he goes, oh, I'm
like,
sorry.
That's not Batman. Don't fall for that.
No.
That's a little strange.
It does.
But,
it works
but I
for
think
this movie.
That's what they were trying to do, is that he's really, really kind of weakened by her presence.
Well, he's clearly flummoxed by having a capable. I mean, I'm sure he's gone up against criminals and so forth that are women, but she is of the same league. Yeah. And I like the way they drop one line in the pre-origin sequence when she's checking her phone messages and the guy says, hey, I'm not going to be hanging out with you for Christmas. Sorry. And then she goes, just because I beat you at racquetball once.
Right, yeah.
It's like the whole thing is like, oh, she's athletic. It's like the one little explanation of how she could just be amazing.
Well, the excuse he gives is that his therapist says that she wasn't good for him or something, that he needs more time. He needs to spend more time on his own or something like that. It's another psychiatric issue.
Yeah. He goes,
another mental health thing.
He said that I shouldn't be just an appendage.
Right.
And then that allows her to do another entendre where she goes, some appendage. So I think I like this one more than you, and that is okay. I do love it, and weirdly, I kind of wish we had more Tim Burton Batman films. It's not what he wanted to do. Clearly, that's a shame. But he created, in the first one and this one, he was creating a very unique Batverse, and I would have loved to have seen it continue. The idea of a Tim Burton Riddler, or Tim Burton Scarecrow, come on. Like, the next one should have been the Scarecrow, because that's Tim Burton's jam.
I was just saying, man, like the problem with Max Shreck and whether or not we needed him as a character, Christopher Walken would have been an awesome Scarecrow.
Of course he would. Well, he would have been an awesome anybody.
Yeah.
Because he's just amazing.
He's great. Yeah.
And calling the character Max Shreck, who's the name of the actor who played Count Orlok in Nosferatu. It's like, guys, come on. I do like that Max Shreck, for no reason, his department store's logo is a cartoon cat for no reason.
They show it a lot in this.
Yeah, they show it a lot, but it is great for the one bit where she goes up against the glass, where it's Catwoman looking through this cartoon cat face. It was like, I really like that. There's all these little good touches. And plus, this movie had lots of kitties in it. And I liked it. Even Bruce Wayne at the end, I think that's Miss Kitty, her original one, the black cat that he picks up at the end and takes home. He takes the kitty home.
That's true, yeah.
That's sweet.
It is.
And I remember being in the theater, and at the very end, when she popped back up in the frame to let you know she's not really dead, I was like...
Yeah. At least they didn't kill
I'm freezing like this.
One of them they left alive. Thank God. They at least figured that out.
I'm just freezing like this.
That's okay. I'll put that in the thumbnail. One thing I thought was I guess we're not really doing a full, just sort of like a full. No, we're kind of
bouncing around. That's all right.
Well, this is one thing I thought was kind of weird. It was a weird choice, and I understand dramatically why they did it.
But
in that final showdown where she's finally actually trying to take out Shrek towards the end of the movie, and he's there. It's the three of them are down in the sewer somewhere, and that's when we have that scene. Like, don't you see it? We're the same. I'm like you. And he takes his mask off, which is like, you both already know who the other person is. And Max Shreck is right there. Are you just counting on the fact that she's going to kill him in a couple of seconds? I mean,
maybe so. I mean, I can see it as it would have the impact. I think he's trying to break through it. And the only way he can do that is to unmask. I just didn't like the unmasking because of the tearing of the latex. It's like, easy? Guys, the Spider-Man movies literally have him doing that, and granted, CG is a big part of it now. But you could have had him do this and, turn to the back and have it be something cloth or,
it didn't need to be
the ripping of latex just makes it look like, oh yeah, he's wearing a rubber suit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it makes it seem kind of cheap.
Yeah. The tearing of it is like,
right.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's just the aesthetics. As far as him unmasking, you're absolutely right. Like, is he counting on Shrek's not getting out of there alive?
Yeah.
Because even if he had succeeded. And she was like, you're right. Vengeance is empty and I need to be okay with it, and then they go, let's arrest him. Bruce Wayne. But I do like his line where he goes, Bruce Wayne, he goes, why are you dressed like Batman?
Yeah, I do like that line. He is Batman, you idiot.
That's so good.
Yeah. What would have made more sense is, like you said, just have Max like run ahead, like somewhere else, like he's trying to get away. He takes the cowl off briefly. They have that scene, and then they go and catch up with him.
If Shrek, like all that machinery and all that nonsense, if Shrek had, as you say, run ahead, but got kind of caught. So in other words, at her leisure, she could go take care of him. And then, he could have pulled her into an alcove and gone, like, Selina, no, out of view. But again,
maybe they just wanted to have that line, like, why are you dressed up like Batman?
Yeah, which is
the only way they could do it.
Which is so good. There are a lot of, Christopher Walken, even in terrible movies, and again, no offense to our friend John Campbell, but he's such a Bond fan, and he loves View to a Kill. The Roger Moore stuff, there's like 2 genuinely good Roger Moore Bond movies, and then the rest are real cheesy. And the greatest thing in A View to a Kill is pretty much Christopher Walken. So you give him even dumb dialogue and he will deliver.
Yes.
That thing when he's standing there and he realizes he doesn't have his speech because Selina didn't hand it to him. And he has to improvise the Christmas tree speech. And he goes, I'm just a schmo. Got lucky.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Santa Claus. I think not. I'm just a schmo. Got lucky is just perfect.
Yeah, it is.
God damn.
It is. Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember, as far as these things that I think afterwards really didn't impact my enjoyment then. It's just rewatching where I go, oh yeah, but I still have a lot of fun with it. And I still think this is a dead giveaway, by the way, if you're trying to keep a secret identity. The idea that the bat signal goes up, but then there are reflectors on Wayne Manor that bounce it into his study. Those reflectors that have bats on them might raise an eyebrow or two.
Such a great shot, visiting. Though.
It's a great shot.
When he's standing there.
The idea where he's literally almost in stasis. Like he has no life. He's just waiting for the call. And then the signal gets bounced in and he stands up to answer it. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
And that's actually a pretty good capsulation of what you imagine his life is. Yeah. When he's not pretending to be, playboy billionaire.
Right. And so, I mean, in general, all these things, I'm complaining about the Burton-y-ness. The only reason why it gets on my nerves is because the story is so not threadbare, but just kind of, like you said, it's not really tied together very well.
It's jagged.
And we don't get enough Batman in this Batman movie once again. So it's a little frustrating. So there was a lot of scenes where, because I love Michelle Pfeiffer is fantastic. I mean, the whole cast is fantastic. But I think they just spent a little bit too much time. I think Burton was more interested in those characters than he was Batman in a way. Because we spend a lot of time with her that I don't think those scenes with her at home in her apartment could have been trimmed way down. We didn't need 5 minutes of her stumbling around drinking milk and stuff when she got home.
But that's the hottest part of the movie, Chad.
Yeah.
Way be, Chad.
It's just like, go back to Bat and Alfred. I mean, Bat. Go back to
Bat and Alfred. Remember that show, Bat and Alfred? He's a spooky guy with ears. That guy's British and might be. He's here and there. Bat and Alfred. Bat and Alfred.
Wow. Oh, that because I misspoke. That's amazing. God. See, this is what you get, folks. You tune into PSAPs, you never know what's going to happen.
You get a theme song to a show that never existed. Yeah. but I would have watched it. Where are we now?
I think we're done.
I think we're done. I am pro, enjoyed it. Chad hated it.
I didn't hate it. I was frustrated by it.
Chad burned the Blu-ray and buried it in the backyard. And the real test of whether we're men or mice is if we continue.
With a bat.
If we
with
go
a bat,
into
on a bat.
Schumacher.
Yeah.
One of which I have seen in the theater. Actually, I saw Batman Forever in the theater.
That's
Batman
the next
and
one,
Robin
right?
is the one I have never seen.
Is Batman Forever the next one? The one with Val Kilmer? Yeah.
The one Val Kilmer has the Riddler and Two-Face. Oh, such a terrible Two-Face. Such a terrible version. But I never saw Batman and Robin. Did
you see the clip I put up where I animated your Mike Reno joke from the first Superman breakdown? Yeah, you got to watch it. It's actually, the clip did really well. But you made this joke about Jor-El saying basically always wearing his awesome Mike Reno headband. And so I took a shot of Jor-El from the World of Krypton comics from 1979.
Yes.
Where he's orating and has his fists out like this, and I put a little like da 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 da, just a couple seconds of that song, and he bounces up and down. I had a lot of fun with it.
Man, you are off the chain, as no kid has said in 15 years. Hey, P-Saps. Yeah, we're still trucking through these things, and I hope you guys still enjoy us just babbling about the movies that we have seen and trailers. Let us know. Also, again, as we always say, you got an idea for a topic, something we haven't covered, and we've heard you. We will eventually cover The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Yes, we know there are a lot of Don Knotts fans out there. Yes. We'll do it. We'll do a scene-by-scene breakdown. Actually, it is one of my favorite Don Knotts comedies.
I did watch it. I mean, I watched it back because I was trying to do this clip. I tried a couple of times to do this clip early on, and it didn't go anywhere. It was where it's a weird references where we were remembering an old Quigman's cartoon.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Hey, Barn, you ever really look at your hands? And that got you off on Mr. Chicken. And so I did a clip where I was putting in shots of that. So I actually watched the whole movie when I was doing that. It's great. It's so good.
Attaboy, Luther is still a thing that me and Robin do to each other all the time. Attaboy, Luther. Love it. Anyway, so we'll talk about pretty much anything except for our colonoscopies. So on that note, God bless everybody. Enjoy. Stay warm. Stay hopeful. And do what you can. Yeah. Move us ahead in time. I would appreciate it.
That'll be
all
cool.
Right, bye.
Bye.
We're going to our sequential superhero movie watching section. Except for not too sequential.
Is that a new song you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Look, workshopping.